The story of a fox that took cosplaying Link too far, living out the remainder of their fluffy little life in an imaginary world, filled to the brim with creatures hell-bent on killing him. Or is it? Let's dive in and figure out what's going on here. Tunic is an action-adventure title from Andrew Shouldice. Shouldice? Andrew, let's just say Andrew. Interestingly, like other great titles, such as Hollow Knight, Hyper Light Drifter or Armello, Tunic was also backed by Indie Fund. Maybe this one's another item on the list of reasons to back indie devs? Let's see. And that we shall. In fact, we'll see some eye-wateringly beautiful presentation. Despite the simplicity, the graphics are crisp and glorious to behold. From the playful little green pyramids that turn out to be grass, through the gloomy caves to the surprising neonscapes we come across later on, all of it is just satisfying to explore. Which you will have to do a lot of, and it's both a strength and a big weakness of the game. See, the playfield is meticulously crafted in a way that beyond the obvious road to travel, a myriad of paths and byways invite you for adventure, as long as you spot them. Finding these hidden pathways leads you to discover hidden items, alternative routes between the biomes, or shortcuts, so you don't have to fight your way through baddies should you die. This is great, and immensely satisfying when the realization hits you. However, every now and then, your main progression will also be tied to similar discoveries, or even worse. For the even worse part, we first have to touch on Tunic's no hands held approach. Or rather, hands occasionally held, but in my own specific way, which you'll either decipher or perish. Imagine if someone fell into a raging stream, but instead of helping them, you threw a buttload of sticks at them and started rambling about certain geometric arrangements. Technically speaking, you didn't just leave them to die, but I'm not sure they'd realize you were hinting at how assembling a ladder would prove beneficial. And even if they did, you'd probably still be an asshole. Now Tunic does this by not telling you anything directly, rather offering little crumbs of information through a manual. First of all, however, you have to find and collect the pages of said manual, and second, 80% of its contents is gibberish. Well, truth be told, it's not exactly gibberish. People out there have already cracked the code to be able to translate it to English, but even knowing this, I couldn't be bothered to do so, so safe to say, to the layman, it's gibberish. Now hooking back to where we started this train of thought, in practice, you'll have periods of jolly good fun exploring, doing your thing, then occasionally you'll just reach points where your heart's stuck. Either you'll keep running around hoping you'll bump into what's expected of you, or you'll try deciphering the vague clues in your manual. During my playthrough, this happened to me 5 times. 2 of them I managed to solve, the other 3 I just gave up on after roughly 45 minutes each of being frustrated. While I get the idea of making the player work for things, I don't think linking the main progression path to hardcore riddles is anything else than alienating. I'd much rather prefer if only optional things were presented this way, just as is the case with, for example, the hidden fairies. Either way, while some of the riddles would deserve some tuning and occasionally a bit more handholding could be useful, adventuring is a delight, the different biomes actually feel and play out different, but still same enough for the player to believe they are part of one coherent world. The emotional highs outweigh the lows and makes you want to go on, explore and see even more. What comes with less happy thoughts unfortunately is the combat. You have a melee attack, a shield to block with, a dodge move, a pair of ranged weapons and a handful of tools. Latter comes in the form of a grapple, bombs and potions. Is this enough? Yes, it's actually way more than enough. Most of the available consumables I haven't even touched. I've mostly just stuck to the trusty sword and dodge move, as those were the things that fit my preferred playstyle the most. Admittedly, this might skew my perspective. Maybe reaching out for all you have delivers more fun times, but that's just not how I play. Instead, what I experienced was a melee weapon with just barely not enough range and a dodge move that comes without a cancel property, making me flat out furious. Add to this the overworld monsters that mostly just swarm you, and boss fights with heavy luck based variants and requiring twitch reactions, and you've got yourself a recipe for disaster. The range of the sword I can get over, it's not convenient, but pay a bit more attention to spacing than usual and you can make it work. Swarming mobs are annoying but usually manageable. The bosses having random attack patterns is an unlucky design decision, but still it could have worked out fine, if only there was a dodge cancel. Literally, this single function would have turned the current unenjoyable combat on its head. Boss patterns wouldn't matter if we could react anytime, instead of just being stuck in an animation trying to heal or attack. Similarly, hordes of enemies attacking you wouldn't be annoying if you could just dodge cancel an attack when you notice one of them is about to hit you. Long story short, this one missing little ingredient is what could have made Tunic a masterpiece. Without it, well, overall I had a good time, there's no denying that, just as there's no denying I would jump straight into the sequel if I could, no questions asked. I really hope the much needed cancel will be added, the main line of progression will be made a bit more clear, and I'd love to see a few quality of life changes added, for example the map getting updated if the player finds a secret passage. Until that point, however, I really hope a wide audience gives Tunic the chance it very well deserves, handles the title with the patience it requires, and delivers to Andrew their feedback of all the fun they had with exploring the world he created, as well as their asks for the future. If you enjoyed what you saw, we'd greatly appreciate if you pleased the machine gods by liking our video. If you'd like to come along for the next one, don't hesitate to subscribe. Any and all recommendations are welcome in the comment section. Ask Ylvis what does the fox say, and we'll see you again soon.